If you spend time observing the modern digital environment, you quickly notice the baseline frequency. We live inside a constant spiking anxiety, driven by algorithmic feeds, automated workflows, and a looming dread of being replaced by the machines we built. It is an environment engineered around a specific ethos. The mandate is to relentlessly optimize output and dominate the market. In that framework, an algorithm that can generate code or render art in 3 seconds functions as a direct rival. We are running a race we are terrified of losing. When you treat a machine as a competitor, your biological response is to tense up. This default mindset traps us in a state of fearful separation, isolating us from the very tools we created. Leave the server room behind. Walk into a space where gravity and breath still dictate the rules. Athens, the year 2026. A martial arts symposium inside a newly inaugurated dojo. Look at the people in this room. You have figures like Akim, a former physics teacher who holds a 3rd-degree black belt in judo and has spent 17 years practicing Aikido. His entire worldview relies on physical momentum, kinetic energy, and human connection. Yet in the middle of this physical sanctuary, Akim pulls out a screen. He shows the group a video of a completely synthetic, AI-generated pop singer and asks his old teacher a simple question: "What do you think of this KI?" It is a striking contradiction. Why would we look to masters in ancient physical combat to find the blueprint for navigating a bodiless, algorithmic future? The answer comes from the teacher's unique background. Before opening a dojo in Greece, he spent over a decade working as a computer scientist in the academic engine room of Humboldt University in Berlin. He understands neural networks just as well as he understands gravity. This map shows the phonetic synchronicity between our modern tech jargon and traditional Japanese martial arts. He points out that in German, the acronym for artificial intelligence is KI. In Japanese, ki translates to the vital life force or energy that flows through all things. The pattern continues. The English acronym AI perfectly mirrors the Japanese word I, which means harmony or love. And the command do, as in to execute a function, aligns with do, the concept of a lifelong path of mastery. Words frame how we think. If you approach a massive language model as cold, competitive software, you fight it. But if you view it as a concentrated stream of collective human energy, your objective changes. You stop trying to dominate the adversary, and you learn to harmonize with the force. During his 14 years at the university computing faculty, the teacher walked past a sign outside the student workshop. It read, "Don't quit." But the capitalization formed a secondary instruction. Capital D, O, capital I, T. Do make information technology. That hidden make it mandate is the ultimate distillation of the Silicon Valley grind. It is aggressive, future-obsessed, and entirely focused on extracting value. After meditating on that sign for over a decade while deepening his martial arts practice, the teacher stripped away the forceful demand to make. He embraced the present tense focus of the Japanese path, the do. His mantra became simply, do it. That slight adjustment changes your entire interaction with the machine. You stop furiously prompting a chatbot just to hit a deadline. Instead, the process of interacting with the algorithm becomes a deliberate, mindful practice of your own human consciousness. To understand how this works in practice, we have to recognize what artificial intelligence actually is. It has no morality, no agenda, and no desire to harm. It is entirely neutral. It functions exactly like an ultra-sharp modern sword. Place a razor-sharp blade in the hands of someone who is never trained. Their biological response is pure panic. They grip the handle too tightly. They swing with jerky antagonism. They operate out of total fear. Hand that exact same weapon to a master martial artist, and the dynamic vanishes. The master feels only the perfect balance of the steel. The blade ceases to be an external threat and becomes a seamless extension of their own energy. The carbon steel did not change a single micromillimeter between those two scenarios. The only variable that shifted was the internal emotional state of the human holding the handle. This modern algorithmic sword demands uncompromising respect. Surviving it requires rigorous internal training, regulating our emotional reflexes and practicing deep discernment. That discipline is the only way to replace our societal terror with absolute trust in our own grip. Because these models are trained on our collective output, every prompt we write pulls directly from human history. This makes the machine a polished mirror, reflecting our deepest unresolved conflicts back at us. For the teacher, the acronym shifts one final time. He refers to it as AI with a degree symbol, anthropo intelligence. It is the literal, physical manifestation of collective human intelligence. This chart illustrates the ladder we navigate. The lowest rung is fearful separation and antagonism. Like AIKIDO, where you join an attacker's energy, this blending is the bridge. By staying calm rather than defensive, we guide the machine, reaching the peak state, spontaneous synergy. A massive influx of power into any system forces a reaction. This technology acts as a spiritual provocation. It forces us to decide whether we will remain divided and terrified, or whether we will evolve the internal focus necessary to handle the voltage. The next time you open an AI interface, treat the screen like a dojo mat. Recognize that you are holding an incredibly sharp sword, where the energy you put into the machine today dictates the reality it will build tomorrow. Step onto the mat and simply do it.